Hello everyone and welcome back to another new video. Today I have a story for you that is concerning. On speedrun.com, the website where most speedruns are being listed in form of a big old table with lots of categories and everything, and there's also part of a forum where you can talk to each other, and of course comments where you can chat each other and say, hey, nice world record, GG's and stuff like this. Right, speedrun.com, you probably have heard about it. There, recently, just 2 days ago, one user started going crazy. So I first got notified here from 𝐸𝐮𝟓 on Blue Sky, right? He wrote, LMFAO, this is the craziest troller in SRC. In under 24 hours, he went from 3 months of no activity to posting 79 threads and 127 comments all in the last day, with the link to the profile. Some of which affected games I moderate for, and one of which was semi-serious. So naturally, I was curious, like, what's going on there? Like some bot activity or somebody spamming the exact same thing over and over again? Well, welcome to 2026, where even people on SRDC are just faking human activity. Like Sarge says, this account was made 3 months ago on November 14th, 2025, and has been last online, well, today, of course, February 24th, when I record this video. At the time of posting round now, there are 0 runs, which, yeah, fair. Usually people join first, I guess, and then they want to go and learn a run and talk about it and then, ask questions how to learn to run a game. That's a normal process, right? I talked about that when Delta was releasing to give people a soft insight into, hey, how you want to get started. Well, it's actually quite simple. Here's your game, just record it, upload it somewhere, and then talk to the people. And if there's a question in regards to rules, just ask, right? This person took asking to the next level. Because like 𝐸𝐮 says, oh yeah, 3 months of nothing, and then within 2 days, 80 threads. Well, now it's another day later because it took a while to analyze everything here, right? And we're currently sitting on day 3, 72 hours later, at 93 threads and 152 comments posted, which is a lot. And again, we're talking not like about spamming, like, oh yeah, here's my link to my Discord, or like, download my game, this totally not a scam thing. This is someone who just fakes being a real person, writing into hundreds of games and asking about the leaderboard situation. And I found out quite a lot of stuff about him. Because there are methods of the craziness, and there is especially clusters that make clear who this person is. And I'm going to share that with you today. So how did we get here? Well, first off, I find quite interesting, if you just take his following page, he's following currently 198 games and 1 user. Talk about the user in just a second here, but this looks quite similar. The Spyro games, the Sonic games, God of War game, the latest game we've just seen, Mario Kart here, Super Mario, Simpsons Hit and Run, Crash games, more Sonic games, and then some games are repeating. As we can see here, sometimes games are literally repeating itself, and then only all more serious, the new game list. And this is basically a wide variety of games that are being followed here. And again, this is nothing crazy. There's a lot of people that have been active for years and gathered, of course, interest in a lot of different games, naturally, right? If you just take a look at me here, I have plenty of games that I follow, mainly from the Metal Gear Solid series, but there's also other games that I got recommended to that I didn't have time to look into. My first speedrun game, Deus Ex Human Revolution, and of course, many, many more. But I have only 3 pages. There's nothing repeating here at all, right? And like, I did follow 43 games at least. But there's nothing you see here, for example, on my profile, right? On my profile, there's like plenty of runs, and there's some threads and some comments, and especially I got links to my socials, right? I tell you, hey, where you can find me, where my videos are. If you want to talk to me, this is how you can contact me, of course, right? And of course, in those 5 years I joined, back in January 10th, 2021, I made 902 submissions. So I have a history. I'm definitely present here. And even if you see someone else who used to be active, and I randomly picked your Flash Fury, so hello, joined 8 years ago, there's 138 runs, right? And across a variety of games, mostly like iOS games here, why not? From 4 to 5 years ago, and even older stuff from the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and all that stuff. Great variety, why not? So not only is this Zeus person super into, of course, a lot of different games, they're also very active. Zeus is only following Shift. Shift was someone who joined 9 years ago and is from the US. And if you look at Shift, you're like, who's this guy? Wait, SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob, and SpongeBob CE, which are all over now, by the way. That's fun. Yeah, this person likes the SpongeBob game. Hang on a minute. Oh yeah, Shift is the guy that showed us that actually you put ketchup on your SpongeBob game and that makes the game load faster. Right, that is the story there. Good times. Also 4 and 5 years ago, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's mostly what Shift is known for. Well, and for some reason now he's somewhat affiliated with Zeus Left Hand here because Zeus is following Shift. Does that mean anything? No, of course not. You know, people following each other for a while, and maybe he's just a fan. Maybe Zeus is just a fan, right? We get about the fan thing. Like, store that in your mind for later. We can come back to that. Let's talk about the actual important stuff here, the threads, right? We're here about the threads and the activity. Like, what's being spammed here? I'm going to put in my reading glasses for this. So, we have 93 threads and 152 comments. And let me just read some of them to you, right? And you probably get an idea of what's happening here, okay? So I have categorized most of them here into different things. And honestly, these questions are not even that crazy, right? In the Catwoman GBA game, he asks, would it get verified running this game? Would it get verified? I don't know. On Banjo Pilot, can anyone tell me how I unlock bottles? Yeah, it's an innocent question, why not? And then Wacky Races, Mad Motors. Anyone know where I can find the DS game? It's like, oh, okay, sure. Like, this is all nothing crazy. On the Fantastic Four game, they ask, like, hey, where can I find the Silver Safer game for the DS, which, yes, does exist. And in Crash Bandicoot, it's like, hey, is this called XS in the UK? And then, yes, the PAL version is called Crash Bandicoot XS. Thanks for confirming. All normal human stuff. Surely why not? Across a variety of games here, the Crash series, Fantastic Four, Wacky Races, Banjo Pilot, Catwoman. Like, nothing crazy, but, a wide variety, why not? And eventually, of course, Zeus would also learn to run the game. And he's asking Madagascar Cards, any guides for this game, wanting to run Time Trial. Crash Nitro Card. Can anyone help guide on running the GBA version? Devil May Cry. Can I have some help? How can I help Idea Cosmic? Hello. What's the best guide to first-time runners of this game, please? This one, that's in the guide section. Perfect. Just get started. That's exactly how we should go about it. If you don't find the guides, I mean, it's literally right there with 7 guides, but you could still ask. There's no problem just asking. Asking is free. And there's a lot of people, as we see in the proof here, there's a lot of people really willing to help you learn their speedrun games. They want to have more competition. Crash Tag Team Racing. Does anyone have guides for PSP? Also, why is Crash so hard, lol? How do you unlock play this game about Gears of War 3? Does anyone have breakdown of what challenge is actually called in Sonic Generations? Like, what? Does anyone have breakdown of what challenge is actually called? Okay, now this is where it probably also, wait, that's not a real sentence, right? Well, if you have not caught on yet here, we're writing across like a wide variety of games. Like, not only are they following literally every game, they're seemingly also posting to every game. We've already seen the numbers, 80 games now and 93. So what's going on here? Well, if you take a look here, I've categorized all of these threads in different categories here. Some of them are for moderation. Some of them are for platform changes and platform questions. Some of them, literally, he's just posting, hey, can I get individual edits here? And more of like, hey, where's categories? Can you add the PSP game? Or can you add the Nintendo DS game? And a lot of games are being asked like, hey, what about popularity? Right, so this Zeus guy, he definitely is someone with an intent. And I did find out at least relatively what that intent is. So let's look at the actual data. You know me, if you know me for a while, I love me some spreadsheets. And this is the data. Okay? This looks like a lot. And that's because Zeus is a spammer. He's using probably some AI agent, which hurts to say, I don't know, but we have currently 102 tracked threads and comment chains here. I'm going to go into details one by one. And you can see here in color what is grouped together. And why are these grouped together? Well, if you've already seen it here, but I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, you can tell, oh shit, this dude is using his AI to just spam the boards because he's posting at an unprecedented speed level here. And I know speed as a speedrunner, you know that, right? And so we're looking here. There's a few things where he's out on February 22nd, just after midnight here, at least German time. He's in the US, or he's in the UK, so presumably it will be his 11 p.m. GMT, right? So subtract it out from all of these times. This is just what I'm working with. So there's a few posts here. They're close to each other, like shortly after 10, 15 after midnight, 28 after midnight, 37 after midnight. Great. Then at 2:38 p.m. and 2:40 p.m., which is like within 2 minutes, he posted Mega Man 11 and Mario Kart 7, which is interesting. Let's take a look at this Mario Kart 7 one, right? For some unknown reason, on Mario Kart 7, a Nintendo 3DS game, he posted, hey, can we please add more categories to this? Like Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart DS. Those are not categories. These are entirely different games. But again, already having established this is super likely, this is using some AI agent, right? He just found, or the agent rather, just found, oh, Mario Kart DS, that's a mobile game. Yeah, sure. Hey, where's Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart 8? Well, it's obviously not a Mario Kart 7. That's its own game. That's not a category, but he's still asking about that because AI does not know anything. And then, of course, the forums, people already telling like, hey, bro, these are entirely different games. If you want to speedrun them, here you go. And like, this is the fun part about the speedrun community, right? Everyone's still helpful. Even when they're like, what are you talking about? You're wrong here. But at least they're willing to say like, hey, this is where you're going to go. It's fine. You just got lost. No problem. Everyone here immediately failed the Turing test. Okay? Let's just be clear about that. Sorry, okay, that was just the first afternoon of experiments. There's a little break here, and then Zeus moves on to Poochie and Yoshi's Woody World. After that, at 4:30, Garfield Kart, no skips 3DS. Hey, please add this category. Rayman Legends, hey, can I get a levels leaderboard here? And all of them, interestingly, can be run either on Nintendo console or at least emulated on a mobile phone. That's one of the first things I noticed here for sure. And this trend will continue. Team Sonic Racing, character and vehicle. He's asking here about like, oh, what's the best combination to use? Fair enough, why not? This has been posted at 8:11 p.m. And then on February 22nd at 9:17, within minutes of each other, he posts a massive wall. We look here at 11 posts back to back from 9:17 to 9:40. So within 23 minutes, he posts 13 threads in 13 different games. You get what I'm going on with this, right? Now, this is not much crazy stuff going on here. Just that he's asking about some stuff like, hey, how to? This is the how to game questions here. Then he's asking here for Astro Boy, hey, can we have more platforms like Nintendo DS? Because the game's not there, right? Fair enough. Ben 10 Alien Force, hey, where can I find the game? Brothers in Arms, Hell's Highway, can I play the DS version here? Combat of Giants, Mutant Insect, hey, anyone here? Those are more the popularity questions. So they all can be clustered into like 3 different categories. One of them is like, how do I run this? Which is probably the most fitting game where he's like, okay, I can somehow play this, I can run this, and then compose to this. That's like the highest level of check. The second level is, hey, can we change the leaderboard so I can run it here? Because there are certain things he needs. And we're going to go over that in just a second. Mostly it's like, where's the Nintendo DS game of this? Where's the Nintendo DS version of this game? And then lately, hey, where's the no runs here? Why is the game dead? It seems like this Zeus guy specifically wants to do 3 things. He wants to speedrun a game that he can run on his platforms that he has available. And he's not big on emulating something older like a console game. Fair enough. He presumably just has one thing, a Nintendo Switch 2. And I'll tell you later why. And probably a mobile phone that he can use to emulate some other platforms. Most likely, mobile platforms. And lately, he does want to run, but nothing that takes too long, and only really where like there's activity on the boards. Why is that important? I'm going to go over just in a second, but those are the 3 things that I've so far gathered together. Just like looking at the first 20 posts here. Like it's all about like mobile games, Nintendo DS, for example, here. I'm like, okay, very interesting. So that was the first batch. But you can already see the next color batch also goes on for quite some time here, right? At 9:40, it's a short break for like 9 minutes. And then he moves on again at 9:49, moving on until 10:19, right? So another 15 posts done within half an hour. 1 post every 2 minutes. And it's always a new game here, which is crazy again. Again, I'm not going to post we know this is an AI agent being run here to just write into leaderboards to get to a goal. And I want to actually more interested in finding out the goal here. So what are the things that look out here? All of these games here, except for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, all of these games here can be run on Nintendo DS. And I think the only reason why Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is here, it's probably because his Gen I agent is still thinking about Nintendo DS version of Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, and of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a Nintendo Switch game. Probably Zeus guy, told his agent like, hey, I have this and this. Can I speedrun something there? And then just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe hopped in here as well. Again, talking a lot about here about leaderboard changes. Hey, do we have ideas how to get more runs on this game? Hey, can you add more individual levels for this game? So many of these. Can you add the 2DS category, the 3DS category? I have a feeling, in this instance, for example, the agent does not understand the 2DS is just 3DS in 2D. Because it's literally all he posts here. Hey, can you add 2DS? Thanks. No, nobody cares apparently. I mean, this is a run with 65 followers, 121 runs across 16 players. Like, nobody cares. And then lastly, on that same day, February 22nd, now from 10:33 onwards, within minutes again, until 10:51, so within another 18 minutes, right? He posts another 9 threads. 9:17 p.m. to 10:51 p.m., he was posting across 30 games. Almost 40. You can see the madness, right? What is the point? What is the whole purpose at the end of the day? If it's just about like finding a game to speedrun, normally speedrunners are like, hey, I really like this game. I should do something more with that. I'm tired of just playing it over and over again. How about I start speedrunning it? I bet I can do this. And then they quickly learn there's sometimes a lot more to speedrunning a game rather than just knowing the game inside and out, which is still a lot, of course. But there's still usually more to it, which is fun, right? Learning new things, doing more things. What he's doing here is basically just, I don't know, trying to filter everything of speedrun.com for some nefarious reason and just get on threads and asking the games basically to be made into what he specifically needs so they bow to his will, I guess. Now, the next batch of games here are all technically emulatable on Nintendo Advance. And later also on Nintendo DS. For some reason, at the very end, he goes to the multiple Madagascar games, which can, of course, be run on a lot of different consoles, because there's a movie series and franchise that's just big on games as well. And he's like, more traction. What a great idea. What? At this point, just 50 posts in, like halfway mark. And it's literally still February 22nd. What are we doing here? Is this not already a flag for speedrun.com being like, hey, this is like next level spamming. Again, we have had spam in the last few decades of people like posting the exact same message over and over again, trying to scam someone, clicking the link, downloading something nefarious, or inserting the login data, right? This is not what's happening here. This is faking being a human. And I think, as always, that's the worst kind of use case you can use your AI for. Because again, like, what's the point at the end? The reason, by the way, why this Zeus guy is so heavy on individual levels is most likely, and again, that's a theory, that's not a claim, that's not an accusation. The theory of mine is right now, because current AI generators like Sora and whatever, you know, they're all limited in time to like short clips, like what, 30 seconds and some shit. And IL levels tend to be on the shorter side. A lot of them are just a couple of seconds, maybe a minute a month, you know? And so asking for mobile games, which already have usually like low quality because they're not that fancy and stuff, at least older games, right? And the fact he's asking for IL levels is highly indicating there's either, you know, just a limitation on, you know, the length of duration he can record something like from his phone off the Nintendo Switch. Or what's probably worse, the potential of future ILs being AI generated by Zeus, uploaded to YouTube, and then submitted to an SRGT. Now we know, of course, AI is getting better and better at generating stuff, especially fake video games like we've seen what Google did like just a couple of weeks ago, which had to a lot of game companies' stocks crashing. What if that's the next level? Just putting that thought out there. Scary shit. What is fun is so far, dudes, you can already tell. All of these games here basically have no connection at all, right? This is very loosely connected based on probably like movie franchises and games that released on Nintendo 3DS and by, you know, spreading out a little bit on Nintendo Switch and Game Boy Advance as well, right? You know, the Nintendo handheld consoles had a lot of like movie franchises, TV franchises being represented on their console, which, you know, is fun, makes for a good study case, I guess. It still goes on, yeah. I'm so tired already. This last set of batches coming out till 11:04 p.m. and going on 11:48 p.m. So another 6 posts here. Oh, sorry, 5. Then going out to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. 2 different posts, 2 individual threads to the same game. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and Sonic Riders. It's like all racing games for handheld. You can see that you can emulate them technically on PlayStation 2, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo DS, and of course, Shredder's Revenge on the Switch, which is so far the biggest game we've talked about next to, of course, Mario Kart 8, right? If you look all the way over here, There's like a few games that are over 100, like 99%, especially when you look at his batches here on the timestamps. Mostly, I would think the Gen AI agent here has been told, hey, look at games where the follower number is under 100. This seems to be the ongoing theme here. There's no game at all that's like above 100 except for like a few exceptions. And that could maybe be his own doing. Maybe it's like just the AI going like, I guess it still counts. So maybe the number's high, but yeah. And again, seeing here, like fully out of nowhere, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, of course, a very huge speedrun game here with lots of entries, 21,000 runs being submitted to this game. Huge, right? So that's why I think that maybe this one post actually has been done by a human. Let's see the post. So the question here is, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, hey, is it possible to run this game handheld? Now, if you don't know Nintendo Switch, where have you been the last 15 years? Like, were you in a coma? Welcome back. No, this is where, again, I think the AI agent here has been prompted to be like, hey, I want to speedrun and I only have handheld consoles. What can I do? Because for some reason, of course, the AI does not understand that Nintendo Switch does not need to be docked necessarily in order to speedrun here. You can backwards record at a certain time, of course, and if you want, you can, of course, also use your phone. Oh yeah, speaking of phone, Cappy's answers here. You can do it handheld, just someone going to have to record it for you, lol. And then Zeus answers, thanks, what's going to do with my phone, lol. So they have a phone. All right. We can at least conclude from all of this here, right? They're definitely having a Switch or Switch 2 and a phone. Well, all right, that works. I can work with that. Again, is this done by the human or actually by the agent? I can't tell. The Turing test is so long that figure it out yourself. I would not dare to make the claim here if this post specifically is done by a human or not. Let's instead look at more data, because of course I have 50 more threads to go through, right? And there's even more coming to light. So after these few days here, we're looking again at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Hey, it's the third time here, right? And they're talking this time about the GDQ video. And you're asking, hey, what the hell is the GDQ video? Well, somehow it's quite interesting that actually, specifically for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series here, Zeus's account comes back multiple times here. First off, he's just talking about, great game. This game should have more runs. Make it happen. I mean, you could. Probably. This game is on Switch and assumingly on Switch too. Like, go for it. GDQ video. Anyone watch the run on GDQ? Good run overall plus comms. Sure. Was there actually a GDQ run? Well, let's have a look. Actually, yes, there was. The Cartoon Creature Speedruns event happened where we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge and Nicktoons Attack of the Toy Bots. Right? This is one of the hotfix shows that are shows that are happening in between. In case you didn't know, subscribe to 𝐇𝐚𝐮 Quick, right? There's so much more speedrun happening besides the big 2 events every year. So this one, they actually have Shredder's Revenge presented here. And like within an hour and 14 minutes, sorry. Yeah, they've been going through the game. And apparently that was still the liking of Zeus. Again, maybe that is a human actually writing here. 100% not every post, especially not the posts that like get out back to back to back. 100% not. But maybe in between at least, there's actually human doing something and having an interest. And that's what I'm trying to extract here. Is this really just for fun's sake? Is this just to prove a point about the AI? Or is there actually someone behind that legitimately wants to speedrun a game? And maybe he has found it now with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right? He's coming back every time. And you can see it here as well. Now, just on an old post, who's generally the most optimal characters for getting good times? From 3 years ago, they've been talking. And then there's a long break, of course. And then 11 months ago, somebody posted something in March last year. And now, then, yesterday, Zeus posted he had 1140. Leia was good, but would also say it depends on the enemies. Like as if he knows something, right? And then R1 comes in here like, yeah, Leo was S tier a day later. And then Zeus says, hey, have you seen the GDQ video? Totally out of left field. Like nothing about the character strength here. It's just like, hey, I'm going to make conversation, right? I'm going to connect to someone else. That's what I mostly do when I write about a game. Like, hey, I like this game. Do you like this game? Yeah, I like this game. That's how we start doing things together. That's literally what I'm doing in the next video with Balatro. And then R1 answers again. And Zeus, of course, answers as well again. Completely agree. This has all the potential to become a top-tier speedrunning game. I definitely recommend checking out the GDQ videos, less than 24 hours old. There's just one, there's no multiple. From what I've seen on other forums, I would love to see them as well. What other forums? The moderators are expecting a surge of activity on the page, so hopefully that momentum carries forward. Well, there has been some runs being done this week. So, sure, 3 new runs. All by L1, who was already present anyway. Why not? What do we make of this here so far? Well, at least there is someone behind that, hopefully, that eventually wants to speedrun, that are watching GDQ videos. Or maybe, again, it's just like, yeah, GDQ is like the most prominent place to present speedruns, and maybe they have actually been crawling the GDQ videos overall. We've seen this here, right? February 22nd, the first day at 9:34 on Diddy Kong Racing DS. Again, Nintendo DS, there it is again, a mobile platform or handheld platform, right? Did this game get any traction after GDQ? Played it for a little, seems challenging. Can't really seem to find any guys on speedrunning it though. Punctuation saves lives. Again, did this game get any traction after GDQ? All right, where's the GDQ videos? Well, let's check out the GDQ channel. We had 5 months ago a hotfix event here. Do all the things in Diddy Kong Racing, which also shows, Nintendo DS platform. Why not? 5 months ago. For Disaster Relief done quick here, October 16th, 2024. Quite a while ago. And of course, Games Done Queer 2025, just 3 months ago, November 3rd. But that was actually a Nintendo 64 version. So the only reference I can really find is from August last year, where there's also Nintendo DS present on the thumbnail. All right. And then it's like, hey, popularity, that's been activity here. What's going on, right? We got 57 followers, 694 runs. Where is it? Well, 16 days ago, a month ago. There's people definitely active left and right. I still just don't understand, why would you go and ask, hey, how's the activity looking? How big that penis? I don't know. Who cares? If you like the game, just speedrun it. But again, probably this AI agent here has been trained also hey, I want to speedrun and I want people to see it. I want to have some activity here. I guess. I don't know. Some are having that voyeurism side on their side. They don't just run for the love of the game or for the love of the game. They also want to be seen. Which, fair enough. Hey, I'm making this video right now to be seen. So at 11:48 p.m., which is probably closer to the 11 p.m. evening time in the UK, they stop. And then Zeus the next day writes in the morning at 8:47 a.m. and at 9:21 to Gears of War 3. And again, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, some stuff. It's not at all crazy at all. And then again, at 4:40, we start the next batch. And look how big that batch is here. We got 9 games being posted to here within 21 minutes. It's around 3 minutes a post. One post every 3 minutes, sorry. Whatever. It's late. And again, what is the conclusion here? Oh, wait. You could all run these games on the PSP. And look at that. Most of these posts here are hey, can we split off the PSP platform? Hey, are the guides for the PSP game? Hey, can you add the PSP game to this leaderboard? It's oh yeah, Grok, new AI prompt thingy. I don't know, I don't say I have a brain, I have fingers, I'm doing stuff myself. Anyway, write to 9 posts here, okay, this game exists on the PSP because, everything has been crawled. Your mom has been crawled. Took 9 days, but they did it. Fantastic. Only took 2 million liters of water. Anyway, and then they found out, yeah, here's some PSP games we can emulate on your phone. And actually, well, let's see. Oh, there's 𝐸𝐼 coming in here. So that was when 𝐸𝐼 was on Escape on the Loose. Hey, what's going on here? So they posted here, would it be possible to split hardware? Wanting to run it on PSP, but feel like it's somewhat unfair against the PS5. What in my eyes is emo. And punctuation says noise. 𝐸𝐼 says, I think it will be unlikely hardware is ever split between PSP and the rest of the consoles. Creating needless categories just leads to bloat. This is just the nature of speedrunning, sadly, especially regarding PlayStation, where costs can be rather prohibitive at times. Thankfully, even PSP, whole detail, let's not waste your time. And to your emulation point, the boards are split according to official and unofficial means of access. PPSSPP is the only unofficial and accepted way to play the game at current. Which is interesting, because if the AI would know PPSSPP is probably what he wants. Right? I don't think this dude actually has a PSP. I don't think they do. Because getting all the games together would cost so much money. We're at the 65th thread right now. You think they have all these games available in their catalog? All just randomly being handheld games? And he has them physically able to be run? No! All these PSP games would need to be run on PPSSPP, the official, probably most known, of course, emulator for PlayStation portable titles. Also available on Android phone. Hey, look at that. And that's where they would be able to post. Right? There is of course, a hardware category where there's also PSP run here. And yes, the PSP loses out against the PS5, right? But they could just run on their phone, where there's literally just emulator. That is a category where if they only had a phone, presumably, would run on PPSSP on mobile, well, that's where they could compete. Congratulations, Sylvia. You made it to Friday. Here you go. But instead, yeah, just like, well, why is actually PS3 in the same category here as the other consoles? If they probably don't even have a PSP, right? This is what makes me mad. There's so much time to be wasted here. And I'm wasting your time too. I will not suffer alone. What's funny is, like, within 4 minutes here, Killzone Liberation also gets a post here, playable. Does people still play this game, little random one? What? That's literally what's standing there. Zeus asks, does people still play this game, little random one? No comment. Sergeant again is like, welcome. We haven't had any serious runs in a while. Not since Vossler set up a couple of world records. I hope to return, but when is unknown. This is probably when Sarge was like, what's going on here? Because this though posted here at 4:44. And then in the other thread, it was at 4:40. It's like within 4 minutes, 2 different not connected games asking about that. Nobody would ask, at least in the series, right? But like I said, the only thing that really matters here is it can be emulated on your mobile phone, on your Android phone, most likely, on PPSSP. That's what all of these are connecting here. Completely random games: Ape Escape, Crash Tag Team Racing, Jack and Daxter, Killzone, Medal of Honor, Peter Jackson's King Kong, Scooby-Doo, Sonic Rivals, SpongeBob SquarePants, and of course WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Right, all of them can be run on PSP, and that's what the agent has been told. Like, hey, make sure I can run this here. I can only use my phone. Get me some games. Again, why then does account go and post in these rather than just giving the user the actions like, yeah, so there's these PSP games. I see they even have an emulator board, presumably, right? And even if not, I can actually ask them, hey, can we add this for you? And they're sort of like, make it so. And then this happens here. Within like, again, 30 minutes, we have 9 posts. What the fuck? Now, again, we have here in between at 5.3 and 5.4. Again, within 1 minute. 2 more posts, specifically about Xbox games at Halo 3 and Gears of War Judgment. Hey, how can I run this game? And hey, this is the funniest thing to me. They ask in Halo 3, hello, can we please add update on leaderboard? These seem very hardcore Halo fans, which I'm not. However, wouldn't mind doing a run or so in casual, etc. Oh, it's crawling me. So the only full game leaderboards we have here is Legendary Deathless and Lasso Deathless. Because you don't know, Lasso is with the game modifiers, the skull that basically change stuff in the game. And of course, there has been a great Lasso challenge a year ago, 2 years ago. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with the Halo game series. Apologies given to the runners. Y'all great. I watched the Summoning Soul video about that. Good stuff. But again, I can't be everywhere. And so I just found this interesting here because we have the levels, of course. Number of players is 1 to 4. And there's a lot of activity in the individual levels here. And we see even like 3 months ago, there's been some people running here on the boards. So if you actually want to see the latest runs when it comes to Halo speedrun, you got to look here at haloruns.com. This is their own community's website for all the runs for Halo. And they see here the leaderboards. They have every game here. They have even solo, core campaign, heroic, S-Lasso, acrophobia, co-op lasso, and of course even full game or just individual levels. If you go to Halo 3, for example, new solo with the same categories, we also got individual levels, including, of course, the full game. And what's really cool, I shout outs to people making this, maintaining this. They say, screw speedrun.com. We make our own website. And this is how it looks like. This is crazy. I love it. I would have never looked at that if it wasn't for Zeus. So, like, thank you, Zeus. Fucking AI bot. This is great. If we ever leave SRDC, I don't know what I need to look at and who to talk to. This is a really lot of fun. Because look at the activity here as well. Look how many runs have been posted here to Halo 3 in recent times. There's a massive history here, dude. This is insane. With videos even in times linked here. Oh my God. You can feel the history and the love of the community coming together here. Like, shout out to all these people. GG's. That's crazy. Anyway, it's just Zeus only sees like, hey, not much happening here. Only 101 followers, 356 runs, and not really inactive. As we see here, all the recent activity is 0, right? That's probably where the marker is. If they check if there has been recent runs according to speedrun.com and the number is 0, they post there. All right. In case you didn't know, I did also not know this before. There's another set of runs being done here now from February 23rd, yesterday, 507 onwards until 527. And I exclude the Xbox runs here because they're just categorically different, but maybe they have been done with the same prompt. I don't know. It's really not up to me to decide if this is part of the same prompt here. Would make sense because this is, again, in total 10 actions being done here. So presumably the Xbox games are also part of the same prompt, this time about console games. Who knows? But at least the last 8 posts here have all in common. They could be run on PlayStation 2. And at least on modern era smartphones, there is actually a Android emulator for these phones. I did also not know about this, but this is called ARM SX2 instead of PC XS2. Great idea, why not, right? And apparently you can run a lot of PlayStation 2 games here now on your Android phone. Because, of course, because thanks, of course, to Bluetooth controllers, you can make this work quite easily, or, of course, as well with touchpad controls and performance overlay. So if you have a phone that can run this, or maybe a tablet, you could technically also then screen record this and then, do runs here. And once again, we have a few things here. Good run, but why not active? Moderator needed. This is crazy. Hello, is it worth running this game under the title moderator? Normally, when you just write in the title moderator, you would probably ask, like, hey, moderators, question, can I submit this and this? Or can I add with a emulator? Or, hey, can we make it so emulators are allowed? I would love to run this game. That's what most people do. If an emulator is not allowed, in my past 5 years, I often have it like, hey, I would love to run this game, but the emulator is not allowed. And I don't want to, shell out the cost of physical gaming. There's mostly a reason why emulators are not allowed, but, can at least ask, especially when you're new and you don't know. But no, that's not what's happening here. Is it worth running this game? It's not even about the emulator. Then again, another question about popularity. God of War 1 here, the initial God of War. New God of War. Did this game get more popular with the new God of War coming out? Because, of course, there has been that side-scroller game that has been announced alongside with, of course, the announcement of the trilogy that gets remade sometime soon. It's just crazy. And this is, by the way, the third post that 𝐸_𝐬𝐿 has been part of here. Now for 𝐾𝐿Zone, PlayStation 2 game here. Of course, playable also on PS3 and backwards compatible PS3 and PS Now and PSN. Yes, here. Is there a chance of adding this as category? Out of bounds as title. Because when you go in like, oh, title out of bounds, can we add this? But let's see. So because I'm not familiar to this, thankfully 𝐸_𝐸𝐿 has answered here and we know what the answer is, right? I'm not sure I follow. We already use out of bounds freely in the run. So why add a category? It's like the first time this news account is not asking about adding a category or a platform. This time it's about adding out of bounds category. Which if you look at the game here, the game is just easy, hard, and character runs, of course, where every character here has their own run, which has not been submitted to, but most people here just go by the full game easy difficulty. Because why not? There's not that many people anyway, so that works. And that's the point where then 𝐸_𝐸𝐿 also was like, hey, I gotta talk to somebody about this. Like, this is crazy. I know, let's be fair, I've not even done this yet, but let's just look at this beautiful background. Like, is this AI generated? If you'd ask me, with what I've seen so far from logo designers, like just spitting out there, 100%. Can I prove it? No, of course not. We need to see the prompt and history and stuff like that, but like, let's be real. If you see this image with the Terminators in the background and the whole dude here is like Zeus, but as a Terminator, and his whole description as well about Zeus' left hand, presumably, right? Zeus' hand to rule, lightning, controller, handheld speedruns. We already established this. This dude is about handheld speedruns. And presumably as well, mobile phone emulation. Clean lines, fast resets, steady hands. No punctuation again. Authority moves through the left hand. I get clean lines, steady hands. I don't know, are you a surgeon? What do steady hands have to do with speedrunning? But then fast resets? This is where AI is going to die soon. I can't wait for that shit to die. Who would write in their bio as a speedrunner, fast resets? So later throughout the evening yesterday, there's not much crazy stuff happening anymore. I did, however, notice a few more things which actually carry across to this morning as well. There's a lot of activities now on games that can be run on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 as well, most likely, right? So they go back again here to 𝐇𝐚𝐮 𝟓 𭭍👓👏 Revenge about talking and continuing the conversation about the most optimal character, which again, maybe that's the thing now. Maybe that's the actual human being here like, yeah, I like this game. Let's talk about it. Let's connect. I want to make friends. I'm alone. I want to talk to AIs. I don't know. Maybe that's what they do. And then we have the Switch version being asked to be added here of the Genesis and Mega Drive leaderboard. And Bubsy 3D Forbidden Planet and Bubsy and Fractured Fairy Tales, which is part of a collection that you can now also play on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, which they ask, hey, can we add this to the leaderboards? So they can participate because they have most likely Nintendo Switch 2. And I say not Nintendo Switch in general. I specifically think they just have a Switch 2. They probably like gave their Switch 1 away. Because here they talk about Bubsy and Fractured Fairy Tales, Switch and Switch 2, add more hardware, right? And then Switch here, can we add Switch 1 2? You think again, okay, that's 1 and 2. General, it's missing. But then here in the Lion King, they just ask about Switch 2. Because Switch 1 is already present, right? Please add the above hardware. And that distinction at least makes me think, okay, if Switch 1 is present and they only have a Switch, they wouldn't ask about it here. So they specifically probably said, I have a Switch 2. Make sure that the games that I want to run potentially have Switch 2 added as a platform. It's not the case here. So I think they only have a Switch 2, not a Switch 1. Which would fit with the rest, right? Every time when there was a Nintendo Switch game present here, like, Shredder's Revenge. Probably running also on Switch 2, right? Team Sonic Racing, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Mega Man 11. And of course, Sun Generations, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Super Mario Kart 8 as well. Super Mario Kart? Sure. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. All right. And of course, because this investigation took so long, it's now evening time here on February 24th in Europe. And because I'll just take his word. I just take his word he's actually from the United Kingdom. Let's work with that. That's what we have. So for them, all of these hour times again are just earlier. And starting at their local 5 p.m. time, because I'm 1 hour later, my 6 p.m. time, they start posting again. This time 16 posts within 1 hour. Crazy shit. This time, it's the Nintendo 3DS era. So we're done with the Nintendo DS, and we're done with the PlayStation Portable, and PlayStation 2, apparently. Now we're moving on to Nintendo 3DS. Hey, moderator, can we add this game? Hey, is there activity here? Hey, why is there no run here? Hey, can I run even if I'm not a task? Which is cute. Like, somebody posted all of these times here, a list of unachieved 80% times from the 80% task of 44 runs. Great. And then Zeus is just like, hey, can I run the levels even if it's not task time? Which is lovely person, JMP man, asked, like, of course. It's like, these leaderboards are not for the tasks. These leaderboards are for human times, naturally, right? So they were so insecure. Or apparently AI, I don't know. AI is not insecure. AI is just data. It's just numbers. Like, hey, can I run even if it's not task time? I want to make sure my owner actually can run here. Whenever they fucking decide to run, right? Because again, it's day 3. We're posting 19 threads again to a bunch of different games. This time more Mario and Donkey Kong. SpongeBob SquarePants again. Ben 10. Like, hold up. SpongeBob SquarePants? Oh, this is coming back again, isn't it? No one said like this person is only following one other person, that is Shift. Well, that's the guy with SpongeBob SquarePants. This is how the circle closes. Again, collation ain't causation. I'm just like, oh, that's curious. These guys only following one person. I like 10 million games, but like, this is the one line that goes through here. Doesn't mean anything. Probably doesn't mean anything. Let's not go too deep here, right? And then lastly here, the second batch, because there's a little bit of a break over an hour. They probably have done more, but now they're sitting at Penguins of Madagascar and Power Rangers Super Mega Force. 3DS Breakdown, 3DS game. Where is it? Can't find it. And there's even more data here again. We again have so many games that are below 100 runners, except for the second one here, which is Mario Luigi Paper Jam, because it's a Mario game. Sure enough, that's big. And then the answer to a thread, is this Enactus? Does this still work? You taking runs? Answering another thread here. Why not exclude the 3DS from other platforms? It's not fair. I love that question here. Right? You can run it on 3DS, PS4, Xbox One, and so many more consoles, mainly Xbox consoles, right? And of course, all of these are not separated. And then again, if you look at the leaderboards, there's literally just one run here for the full game thing. And on levels here, it's a little bit different. There's more activity. And there, of course, the Xbox console prevails because most people don't really run this game, I assume, just on 3DS, because capturing your 3DS is hard. A physical 3DS to be captured these days still requires a physical mod, most likely, because the software mods, at least in my experience when I tried it a year ago, still not that great, right? So this is the current standing where we are here. And from all of this, from 100 posts and comments, what do we do with that? Well, first off, it is clear to me that for most of these phases here, there's an AI just writing the post, right? This is not a human being present here. We have activity within 1 hour, up to 20 posts an hour. Like, excuse me? Across like again, I just want to point out, across a wide variety of different games. Every time, just a single post to one game, leaving to the next one, and like within 2 minutes. That is speed on its own, all right? Already, that's crazy. And then if you look at the type of posts they're making, and the type especially, of course, platforms they want to talk about, they said in their profile, there's a handheld speedrunner. Not a single handheld speedrun done, but they have a handheld speedrunner, right? So they post about Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo DS, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 2. For some reason, I don't know why PlayStation 2. Maybe because the AI thinks, oh yeah, you can emulate PlayStation 2 on there. For some reason, not PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 not being able to be listed here for some reason, although PlayStation 1 via DuckStation can also be greatly emulated on phone. Maybe that's for tomorrow's session. Maybe tomorrow there's going to prompt like, hey, what about PlayStation 1? I like Metal Gear Solid. Can I emulate this on handheld? I don't know. They're probably not done. And they're probably going to keep going until SRDC does something here, right? And that's the crazy part for me personally. It really is just cringe. I don't know, dude. After everything, if you look at all the different games that have been followed here, again, there's more games being followed than actually being answered to as well. Across basically the most prominent different categories and series of games. All across of that here, what is the point? That's what I really want to ask you. And this is what I want to bring, the video to an end. I want to ask, Zeus, if you're really a human behind there, you really want to speedrun, what is stopping you from just picking one game, play that, record that, submit that? If you're worried that you can't submit, you can always just run because it's fun. I just don't think you're a person that even wants to speedrun. There's something else going on here. Because like in most cases in the recent times, since 2021, since I'm active, which is not that long considered how long speedrunning has been around, right? So many people are like, I love this game. I love this series. I want to start somewhere. I picked this game to run. I just can only run it on this one specific thing, maybe on the phone, for example. Can I still submit runs? And the answer usually is you can totally run them. Unfortunately, we cannot allow these runs to be on the board, but feel free to do it until you have a chance to run on a platform, for example, where they would be allowed on the leaderboard, right? And then you can go and already have the skill because you were playing on something where you could play, but not submit. And later when you eventually have the chance to submit with something that you can submit, play with something that you can submit, then you're good to go. And again, like, if this is just about finding games to run, cool. I have one last worry about this here. There's a lot of questioning about like, hey, where are the moderators and how is this game active? I have a feeling this is about taking over leaderboards. And this is probably the darker side here. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Sometimes some speed games are so long on speedrun.com because the website itself is so old already that sometimes there's an error where people run a game for a little bit, they're moderating it, then maybe along with a friend. Like the first person is running, the second person is just, moderating and allowing the runs, and then they leave and never come back because life takes them somewhere else. And then let's say 5 years later, someone's coming in and like, oh, I like this game. Yeah, I would like to speedrun that. Are the bots inactive? And then they start running, they start submitting, and they're waiting and waiting. The run's not getting the run's not getting approved. That's the word. Sorry, it's getting late here. And then you eventually ask like, okay, what can I do? And what you are allowed to do, absolutely allowed to do, you can open a ticket to SRDC, to the site moderators, and you can make your case to say like, hey, this game, I want to run it, but there's nobody there. Can we do something? And they usually go, hey, have you talked to the moderators of this game? And then you have to bring proof, like, yes, I did. I posted them in a DM. I posted some runs here. And with over, for example, a month, nothing happened. And their account also has not been seen, for example, in like 5 years. And it's a clear case where usually the SRDC site moderators go, well, sure, if you want to run it and there's nobody else here, we'll give you moderation rights. Make sure somebody else joins as well so you don't moderate your own runs. Somebody else approves them, you're golden. And I've done that myself for a few games left and right, just because some series are that old. Happens. There's nothing wrong with that, especially when you want to bring new, fresh air into a speedrun game. But this feels like, this whole prompting here feels like this is finding different hidden gems they can take over, and then they can make it their thing. And again, I don't know if there's an actual human behind that that eventually wants to run in these handheld categories games and stuff like that, right? But there's seemingly, when you keep reading through every single forum post, which I did today, it took a lot of time, you can somehow feel like, oh, it's not just about adding categories here. Ideally, you put the whole handheld game on its own leaderboard game. Moderators, make that happen, right? And then I go and get that. A very nefarious take. I don't know if it's true. Again, correlation is not causation. But who knows how this continues. This is the day 3 of this happening. Again, always in batches. Like up to 10 posts within half an hour. Is this not crazy? Is speedrun.com not caring? Well, I will at least write one person that I know from speedrun.com. I will make this case here with this video. And of course, the spreadsheet that I made. And we'll see what they do. No idea. I'm very curious how this continues. And until then, if you really want to see speedrunning a game and you don't know where to go, it's totally legit that you ask in the forums, of course. It's just really weird that you would do this for 100 games in 3 days. That's not normal anymore. If you want to run one game, you're really serious about that, reach out. If nobody's there, usually there's a link to a speedrun Discord. And if there's somebody there, find somebody on YouTube, check out the comments, maybe they have a community. Like, there's so many avenues and ways how you can participate in speedrunning. And in the end of the day, right at the end of the day, speedrun.com is just a glorified table. Everyone knows that. You don't get money for getting world record on speedrun.com. This is all just for fun and shits and giggles at the end of the day. So don't sweat it. If there is a game you want to speedrun, but say, for example, you don't have a way to officially play it and participate there because the rules don't allow it, but you still want to do it, do it. Do it for the love of the game and for the love of the game. And then eventually, maybe there will also come a time where the rules change, and then you can post. My name is Hostas here. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what will happen here. This may not be the last time we talk about this, but this is certainly the first time I've seen such a big case coming forward like this. Until then, have a nice evening, and bye-bye.